organised by the Lusaka Flying Club, aroused considerable public interest. The star turn of the show was the Royal Rhodesian Air Force, which sent a flight of Harvards into the air for some roaring acrobatics. Harvards are, of course, training planes and are very effective for this sort of thing. Civil pilots drop flour bags in a bombing competition. It's a pity all bombs aren't so nutritious. Highlights caused neck craning, as the Air Force Vampire jets took over, really picked up the rally's tempo. A most welcome guest to the Federation was Mr. George B. Allen, United States Assistant Secretary of State for Near Eastern, South Asian and African Affairs. Here, for high-level talks, he spoke of the rising interest among American business groups in the development of Africa, and spoke highly of the Federation's achievements and future potentialities. The Kenneth Mackay Stadium at Bancroft is opened by Mr. Comer Wilson, Senior London Director of the Anglo-American Group, who flew from London for the occasion. The new stadium is up to international standards, and the opening was celebrated by a full-scale African athletic meet. Nobody beats the 4-minute mile, but there's no doubt that the stadium will provide a fillip for all branches of sport among African mineworkers. Africans in northern Rhodesia have been coached by world-class athletes from time to time, and with their natural physical attributes and further coaching, there's no doubt that they will produce some excellent records in due course. At present, their methods are primitive, but they're extremely fit and get good results. A record of 22 feet 10 inches was set in the long jump, which is good in almost any company. The 35,000-pound Kenneth Mackay Stadium at Bancroft is the largest sports stadium for Africans in the Federation. From Mpingwe Hill near Limbe in NYASALAND, very high-frequency radio communication is being to Castle Beacon in the Vumba near Umtali. This means that NYASALAND can now dial O for trunks and link up through the local exchange with the telephone systems in southern Rhodesia. The calls go to Mpingwe Hill in the usual way and are beamed 256 miles to Umtali by the longest VHF link in the world. Another tough nut the NYASALAND postal services have cracked is the difficult old delivery method between Blantyre and Chikwawa. Until now, the African runner has followed a route travelled by Livingston, which took several days, provided crocodiles didn't get him crossing swollen rivers. It was slow and hazardous. Today, however, the Land Rover has taken over the job, even when roads are impassable for buses. In modern times, mail is far too important to be delayed, let alone to be consumed by crocodiles, though this hazard has been obviated by a new ferry over the Shiri River. An improved road has replaced the old trail laid down by Army engineers late in the last century. And so, though they did amazing work, the last mail runner has disappeared from the southern province of NYASALAND. Down in the Kariba Gorge, work on the hydroelectric scheme and the Zambezi still flow on. Included is a geological survey, the purpose of which is to find suitable rock for the concrete aggregates necessary to build the dam wall. It's going to be a mighty big wall, and it's going to require astronomical quantities of rock. Noting the angle of the dip and its direction, and the type of rock, is followed by drilling operations to find out the depth. It's possible that a mountain or two will be shifted into that huge concrete structure. Laying the core end to end gives a complete picture of what lies underground. It may also uncover rock material suitable for road building, which is always going on apace. Access is being hewn out of rugged virgin land, and it's interesting to know that a luxury hotel will later be built on this very spot. Right now, though, it's not much of a place to spend a holiday. On our last visit, the columns had been erected to carry a suspension bridge, which has since come into use. It's the first permanent link between the north and south bank. because the river flow has been too high to permit the road bridge's completion. No one ever dreamt the Kariba scheme was going to be easy, but improvisation and determination are meeting every challenge the mighty Zambezi can offer. So far, all the cement used at Kariba has come from the Chilonga Cement Works. Chilonga was visited by Sir Arthur and Lady Benson, who opened a new rotary kiln. The chairman, Mr. Thornton, heads the private company which has taken over Chilonga from the government. A switch to private enterprise, rare when elsewhere nationalization seems to be the order of the day. But Sir Arthur Benson is a firm upholder of private enterprise. He spoke of the role Chilonga would play in the Federation's rural development and at Kariba, then pressed a button to set the huge new kiln in operation. The new kiln trebles Chilonga's output and raises the annual production up to 200,000 tons a year, enabling Chilonga to keep pace with current rapid developments. The Wankie coalfields may be termed the powerhouse of the Federation. The coal lies some 200 feet underground in a seam between 20 and 30 feet thick. The supply is in fact virtually endless. Dust is kept down by watering, and the coal is broken up by blasting, then removed by automatic loaders. Increased mechanization has been a feature of the Wankie colliery during the last few years. From huge shuttle cars, the coal travels to the surface on conveyor belts at the rate of 500 tons an hour from 4 shafts. The present annual output is roughly 3.5 million tons of high-grade coal, excellent for steam raising and coking. The main users are the copper mines in the north, power stations and the railways, and the transport problem over a line built as long ago as 1903 is a serious limiting factor to production. But where Wankie has developed spectacularly is in the field of byproducts, for of all things, coal can be put to most uses. Research in the laboratories has piloted a number of processes leading to the manufacture of byproducts, and dependent on capital outlay, the field is unlimited. Around this great coal field, discovered a mere 60 years ago, has grown an industrial giant, and a town to house those who serve it. The new recreation club is nearing completion, and will enhance the facilities that already tend to create a happy community. Wankie is certainly a pleasant contrast to the dingy coal towns of England, Wales and Europe, and life is being made as pleasant as possible. Wankie is likely to confound the old saying of carrying coal to Newcastle, for Britain is interested in building a railway link to the west coast to import more of Wankie's coal. There's a good crowd at Belvedere as the Field of Nine parades for the Rhodesian Derby. The favourite is Crosby, priced at 6 to 4, and Bay of Naples at 2 to 1. Betting was brisk up to the moment the field was sent away to an excellent start. As the runners settled down, Shemite established a clear lead from Couturier, Greenacre, Crosby, Bay of Naples, Forthright and Inventor. Shemite found it impossible to hold the pace, and heading for home, Crosby moved well to the fore, ahead of Bay of Naples and Greenacre. It's the favourite all the way. Crosby, an 8-length winner from Bay of Naples, Couturier and Greenacre.